It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another special episode here at the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. We have a special guest with us on today. He's a historian from one of our newest members of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. He serves as an SID, and he is a man full of wisdom, knowledge, and fun stories about Wildcat history. We present to some and introduce to others none other than Mr. Dan Ryan. How you doing today, sir?
I really especially like the part about wisdom. I am wise beyond my years. I appreciate that.
Well, look, we want to welcome you to the Open Mic Broadcast Network and the Mike Prince Show. We're excited about the addition of Bethune-Cookman and the FAMU Rattlers. And to be quite honest with you, there's been more talk about FAMU than that of Bethune-Cookman, and we want to take advantage to get some insights and some detailed information on the storied programs from Bethune-Cookman, and we figured who else better to help bring us to the light than yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. And like I said, I am really excited about the SWAC move. When you work at an HBCU, and as a matter of fact, it's ironic, we'll be my son and I are going to be over at Jackie Robinson Ballpark Friday night. They're showing Field of Dreams, and they're going to let us have a catch on the field afterwards. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, there are a lot of things I haven't done. I've never been to Grambling. I've never been to Alcorn. I've never been to I've been around them all the time. We went to Mississippi Valley State last year when we played them, and I wanted to make that trip. It's like, listen, if I'm going to be working at an HBCU, I've got to go to Orangeburg. I have to go to Grambling, And and it was cool talking on the field where Jerry Rice caught touchdown passes with the guy who threw all the touchdowns to Jerry Rice. Sal and I had a nice visit for a while, so I'm looking forward to especially that end, I can't wait to get over there. I've already got a lot of dinner invitations. I mean, apparently instead of going up to Baltimore for crab cakes, I'm just going to have to go for Jackson for shrimp and grits now. So I guess I got to change my dietary habits, but I'm looking forward to that too.
Absolutely. You got to make sure that you can eat and explore, but there's an old saying, don't live to eat, learn how to eat to live. So hopefully you'll get all that worked out and have some good pleasantries for your palate.
How long have you been talking to my cardiologist? He says that same dang thing.
It's just the way I'm a little bit seasoned myself, sir, and then experience is the best teacher. So we want to enjoy life for as long as we can, while we can, and that's going to start with what we put into our temples. So with all that being said, I know there's been a lot of talk about the football aspect of it, but I'm a baseball guy myself. I appreciate the strong volleyball program that Bethune has had, and they've had some success with the bowling programs. Let's talk about some of these other programs that Bethune will be bringing to the Southwestern Athletic Conference and the impact that they should have upon their arrival.
Well, my primary role until this year was basketball, and we've had our share of basketball success, especially on the women's side lately. In 2019, we made our first trip to the NCAA tournament, playing Notre Dame in the first round. Vanessa Blair-Lewis has done an amazing job with that program. I kid her, it's like, we've won more games than the Knicks in the last 3 years, so it's a running joke that we have. And it's funny, also we had Cottrell Pope and the men. I had the nation's leading rebounder for 3 games last year, and we've had winning records in 3 of the last 4 years. So basketball is up and coming, and like I said, you referred to volleyball. Unfortunately, you're going to miss out on 2 of probably the best players we ever had. One's from Texas. Her name's Jordan Jefferson from San Antonio. She's on the verge of becoming our first 1,000 kill, 1,000 dig player, but we've had a nice run there as well with Coach Williams. A lot of Texas connection. She's from Houston. And it was funny, last year during Dorian, the volleyball team was stranded in Texas after a tournament, so they played Texas Southern. And so they said, we were supposed to have a tournament here, but Texas Southern rearranged 2 games for them. And he goes, well, Dan, it was like what? And Coach Williams got to play a game at our old high school gym. It's like, well, why are you playing at your high school gym? Why aren't we playing at Texas Southern? Because, well, they got something else going on. I'm going, well, what the heck? We're already being displaced by a hurricane. What else can we be displaced by? She goes, Democratic presidential debate. I'm going, I got nothing. So,
all adjusted, moving on, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, liberals, it's all the same thing. We had fun with that. I want to plug the track program as well. Tamisha Morrison, a couple of years ago, she was second in the nation and at the high jump at the NCAA indoors. I become a huge track guy. I think you make one trip out to track town up in Oregon. And I'm not saying because we got a 50% off at the Nike store the day before, but that was just an amazing experience. We've had some great track here with Jonathan Moore and 800 and what we've been able to do. I enjoy track, and I'm really looking forward to that as well. You talk about the baseball programs and all the championships. It's like 3 years ago. We're at Florida in Gainesville, and we're taking the Gators to the 7th game of a regional. And, they go on to win the national championship. And we have 3 players in the Marlins organization now. One player is like we just had our Hall of Fame last year, Stanley Jefferson, who was the number 1 pick of the Mets in 1983. So lots of great baseball. And this is the other thing I'm excited about because we talked about Jackie Robinson. As excited as I am to go out to the SWAC and see all the great history there, I'm excited that your baseball teams get to come and they get to play on the same field Jackie Robinson played, which is mind-boggling to me. So I'm really looking forward to that. And when you come out here, there's a nice little museum, and it's a beautiful, it's not right on the river. It's a beautiful night for baseball. So I'm looking forward to that. And, you just really appreciate that.
You're referring to when they were playing in Birmingham, and they've been playing in New Orleans, and now they're going to be in Jackson, Mississippi. But some stored baseball moments there for the conference as a whole. And I'll give you a quick story. I walked out on the field in Birmingham where the games were played, and I could actually feel the presence. I'm not exaggerating. The hair stood up on my neck and arms, and it was an emotional outpour that I can't even put in words exactly of the power that I felt of the legends that had walked through those runways and walkways at that stadium. So the nostalgia that you speak of is absolutely there, and it was something that I'll never forget.
Well, I'll tell you 2 stories I had when I was basketball in 2016. We opened against St. John's, but we went up there a day and a half early because the Knicks were in town. And we got to see the Knicks play at Madison Square Garden. We had in the MEAC, Kyle O'Quinn was playing for the Knicks, so then he hooked us up with some tickets, and then afterwards we were going to go meet him. Well, Walt Frazier comes over and starts talking to us, and then he goes, let him go out on the floor. So it's like, oh my gosh, we were on the floor of Madison Square Garden,
right?
Which is cool. Then 3 weeks later, our coach went to Cleveland State. We didn't play Cleveland State on campus. We played Cleveland State at the Q the year after the Cavs won.
Wow!
And it was also an experience for me because I used to live in Cleveland. I was a missionary for my church there, and my assigned area was where the Q and Progressive are. It's like, Coach, the coach was making a homecoming. I'm going, well, I'm making a homecoming too, just to be back in that, just to be on that same floor and to be back in Cleveland. But the one that really blew my mind was the third trip. We played Tennessee Martin, and I don't know how well you know Tennessee. Tennessee Martin is the agricultural arm of the University of Tennessee. Their gym is right next door to a cow field, literally. And in that literal cow field are literal cows. But if you go into that gym, it's the Pat Summit Arena. It's like, this is Pat's, where Pat Summit played.
Right.
Well, that's where she played. He goes, no, she was in the field house. It's like, I got to go see that field house. And you walk into that field house, and one, it's an old-style field house. It's Hoosiers. It's like, oh, my gosh, Pat Summitt, arguably one of the greatest coaches in the history of basketball, from this small, humble beginning, goes on to become one of the greatest motivators, influencers of the game. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like through small things, sometimes the great things. And you have to appreciate that. I cannot wait to go to Grambling and, to walk the same sideline Eddie Robinson. I've missed that on a couple of opportunities. I want to do that so bad. And it was funny, I did Grambling, Southern Texas State at the Cotton Bowl one year, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was at the Cotton Bowl, and I'm covering Grambling. It's like, okay, and it was cool, and it's kind of funny when it's like, and I'm wearing a Bethune-Cookman shirt at a Grambling. Goes, wait, we're not playing Bethune-Cookman. What are you doing, scouting? But it's like, yeah, like, I'm just getting chicken fried bacon at the state fair afterwards. But
right.
When you go to these ballparks. And if you've got that spirit of appreciation for what's happening in that ballpark, like I said, you really sense it. And it's like every time I go to, sometimes I get tired, especially if I've had a 7-hour baseball game, baseball, one of those, those doubleheaders. Like, I can't wait to get out of this place. But there's some nights that like, oh my gosh, and especially before I go to a game, you just get a hot dog and you just sit in the bleachers for a few minutes before you go up to the press box. It's a nice feeling. It really is.
It really is. We're talking right now with Dan Ryan, SID for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. The uniqueness of Bethune, it's a private institution. So therefore things might be run a little bit different from your other experiences with some of the sister schools in the MEAC and soon to be SWAC. How do you see things as far as difference of operations compared to the other?
I really can't see that. It's just funny. We've talked about styles of play. For a while we've been a run. You're a run conference. Obviously, the SWAC's been aired out. See how it goes. I know that the folks over at the Undefeated and some of the other publications are looking forward to see how the Bethune-Cookman band matches up with the Jackson State band and the Alcorn band. And we had to have the MEAC SWAC Challenge this year. They had different styles of music and everything like that. And it's just that I can appreciate to see how it goes. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. I get caught up a lot in the, how you do your stats, how you do, everything like that. And it's going to take me a little while to adjust to the styles of play, be able to appreciate different styles of play. But I'm looking forward to that. And that's, like I said, that's why it's fun to watch bowl games. It's like, you get a Big Ten, SEC matchup, and it's like, okay, SEC speed, Big Ten smash mouth, and you get to see how the different styles of play. And we've had our own unique style of play the past few years, so we'll see how it matches up, and how it matches up in those leagues.
Okay. Now, from your experience being in the catbird seat of Bethune-Cookman, knowing what you see on the other side of the fence, that being of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and I'm going to make it minimal as possible, how do you see your programs transitioning over for football, men and women's basketball, baseball, softball, and volleyball?
How do I see us transitioning? I just see it, I am surrounded by some of the best people on this planet in this department. And I really, I'm not going to say, I can't speak for Terry Sims, I can't speak for Ryan Ritter, I can't speak for Vanessa Blair-Lewis, I can't speak for Laura Watt, and we got to talk softball again too. But they will find the ways to make it succeed. They will, those little details will make it work. What recruits, what kind of players each of the others have. They will make it work, and they will make it succeed. And and like I said, we'll be having watch parties, at the end of everything like that. We have great coaching. You always find a way to make it work around here. We are very, It's like they say outside. Sometimes we make a joke. So we can't even afford the box, so that's why we have to think outside the box. They will find the Wildcats always find a way. They find a way to win. They find a way to succeed. And that's, I know that's the generic is. You wanted me to. It's like, well, we're going to run, this formation, everything like that. But it's just, I trust what our coaches are going to be able to do over the next few years.
Okay. Now, if you could pick one tradition that the Wildcats will bring to the SWAC that's going to be an instant hit, what would that tradition be?
Bump, 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 bump. Wildcats. We will have a band. We will have a band that will show up and show out every Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
As I like to tell people, it's like, you remember the movie Drumline? Don't you remember Drumline?
Oh, of course I remember Drumline.
It's like they all got that shot in one take.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. I'll tell you the one story. We were playing Florida State, and everything, and this is when they had Jameson, and everything, Jameis. I'm sorry, I already forgot. And our band shows up at a halftime, and then all of a sudden, the band breaks out in the FSU war chant, and in Tallahassee's just going nuts. I mean, it's like I'm going, okay, and the band gets a standing ovation. I just was like, okay, it's great. It's like I don't even remember what the score of that game was. I just remember how we destroyed the FSU band at halftime.
Well, I have the pleasures of interviewing the band director for the Prairie View A&M University Marching Storm, Dr. Tim Zachary, and he was bringing salutations on how good both bands were, but he did leave a little memo and said it's a little different in SWAC country and can't wait to see you guys make the adjustment. So we're looking forward to the band.
I'll tell you one story, too, and we were in D.C. playing Howard, and we were snowed in, but across the street I was going, da-da-da-da-da-da. I can't remember the name of the song. I'm going, what the heck is another HBCU band doing here? And I go over there, and it's Southern. And Southern, it's like, how did you do it? Listen, I could tell you were an HBCU band in 3 seconds. And then, of course, I go, well, what's Bethune-Cookman doing here? And then it's like I go over there, hey, tell Donovan I said hi. It's like, oh, heck, and unfortunately I didn't have him on my phone, but it's like, you can just tell right away. And I'm just looking, that's the little things I'm looking forward to.
Yes, sir. The uniqueness of HBCU experience, and it's going to be enhanced with the additions of FAMU and Bethune-Cookman in the 2021 campaign. Hopefully, Corona will have settled down by then, and we can all partake in the splendor and the beauty of all the high-spirited competitions and the just pure emotion of the fan base from all said institutions. Dan, I look forward to us to continue to move forward and work together as you become transition into the Southwestern Athletic Conference SID family, and the interviews and the teleconferences and the media days that are planned ahead. And we thank you for allowing us to sneak a peek at Wildcat Country. We want to have you fill in as we do a tradition here at the open mic and allow our guests to have some closing thoughts and comments. And the floor is now yours, sir.
Again, it's all about the relationships here. I'm really looking forward to the opportunities and also to the opportunities for our student athletes just to interact and have experiences. That's what it's all about right now. I just finished up everything, and hopefully, the other day I just found one of our former student managers, graduate assistants, just got his first head coaching job at a hometown college. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking, as much as I'm looking forward to the actual game days, I'm looking forward to everything else. I've been around back in this program for 10 years. a lot of our former student athletes, they've entered to learn and they've departed to serve. And as much as I've enjoyed watching Nick Collins score for the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl, I'm seeing my students get their PhDs and they're coaching now. Matter of fact, today, one of my former track high jumpers is now the head coach at a local high school. That's what we're here to say, and that's what it's all about. And sometimes we forget about that sometimes because we do get caught up in the games and everything like that. You look at the body of work, it's like the 25th, 30th reunion, when you come back and you see what they've done and where they look at but like in Hamilton, look at where we are, look at where we started. That's what it's all about. But as far as, you're right, those games, though, it's like that Bethune-Cookman Grambling game in Grambling is going to be really amazing. So, and also, too, I'm looking forward to, like, you stop by and when we're in Jackson for some shrimp and grits. I'm looking forward to that, too.
Shrimp and grits is on his mind, and the games will soon be beginning in the year of 2021. He is Dan Ryan, SID for Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. I want to thank you guys so much for joining in with us. Don't forget our social media handles for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are all at Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network, and our website is obnradio.com. The time has come where I must exit stage left. I've got to go. But until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.